Hello everybody, Flick here and welcome to my monthly vlog, and this is a bit of a special one because some great things have been happening with the channel. As I'm sure you've seen if you've been around for a while. It's actually quite daunting, as I've said a couple of times, so I'm trying not to focus on it too much, but the point of these channel updates is to say how things are going, where things are going moving forwards with the channel, stuff like that. So we're definitely going to talk about that today. We're also going to do some Patron shoutouts, some plans for the future, and I want to run a couple of ideas by you as well that I'd very much appreciate some feedback on. So, about halfway through May this year, I had like, 42,000 subscribers. By the time you hear this, I'm recording this on the Saturday before the Monday you'll see it. I'll be at over 70,000. Like 50,000 just came out of nowhere and I was like, oh well, I better plan some kind of special thing to celebrate 50,000 subs. And by the time I was already planning it, we were near enough 60,000. It's the biggest amount of growth my channel has ever seen, rather. Even compared to when I did some collabs with Dodger, when I had some anime games, like this was many years ago, before many people had the ability to record from consoles. It trumps all of that, and who would have thought that it would all start with me and my friends pissing around in the Overwatch beta and just deciding, fairly at random, hey, let's all play as the same character and see if we can really mess with people, or have some fun, I guess, not necessarily to mess with people. And the weird thing is, when those first beta videos, the highlights, went live, they didn't really do that well. They did about the same as anything else on my channel, and then I guess they just started getting shared. And it's one of those things where most YouTubers, especially in the gaming space, will tell you this. It just takes one lucky thing to like cascade and cause great things to happen, and that's what's happened here. Things reached a ridiculous peak. They're starting to go back down now to a new medium, but it's still going to be higher than it was. And if you're already familiar with the channel from like last year, you'll know, and you can see proof if you go back and watch previous vlogs, I went on record as saying 2016 was the make it or break it for my channel. I was actually going to make 2015 be the final year I would try and do this full time and make it work. The reason I held on to 2016 is because that was when I knew I was getting Twitch, or my internet was getting upgraded to the point where I could use Twitch. Because I banked on Twitch being the thing, as it were. So I'm so glad I held out. By the way, I had no plans to like delete the channel. I would just have to focus on other things because I'd go looking for a new job. That was the idea. If things stay as they are now, or even half as good as they are now, that's not in question. I don't need to do that. So I sincerely hope it does, and that I hope you'll stick around. If you're just here for the Overwatch stuff and you're not interested in anything else I do, that's fine. I would very much like you to go back and look at the previous things I've done. I'm a variety gaming channel. I'm not really focused on one particular thing or one particular genre. There's playlists for everything I've ever done, pretty much, so I would encourage some of you to go look. I love when I read the comments on the Overwatch videos like, hey, I happened to see an Overwatch highlight, saw you liked Monster Hunter, I'm here to stay. That kind of thing is really nice to see. But I'm aware that not everybody is like that. The other thing I wanted to mention is I wasn't really looking forward to my birthday this year in general. Again, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that my gran passed away in March of cancer. So when you lose a family member, generally when you first get to a holiday or a special event, like Christmas or whatever, the first time someone's not there, it's quite hard. So to have the channel do so well is a fantastic distraction. So I am sincerely happy and thankful for this. Sorry, I needed a minute there. What was a good distraction was Batman riding Camilos in the background there. That's enough of the soppy shit. Thank you though, sincerely. So to distract me further, I'd like to do some shoutouts for the people who supported my channel and Twitch on Patreon last month. So thank you very much to Carneris, Dracovian, Taya Blake, Dragonakis, Matsamuni, Bradley Parry, Nick M, Jared Tabor, Good Rory, Michael Smith, Thaxton, Grant Doty, Thomas Telnovis, Shamoy Lawrence, Gary Marin, Ryan Sadowski, Casper MH, Terrell Smith, The Newbie, That One Guy with the Face, and Yuki. Thank you very much for your support. I'm now just marking off that has been done. I also had quite a few things to talk about, so I actually do have a TXT in my other window here reminding me of everything I want to mention. So we're mentioning Twitch. Twitch is going great. We're up to a steady stream of like 80 plus viewers now. I have actually applied for a partnership. I don't expect to get it, pardon me, but I do want to open up a dialogue with Twitch because I want to know where I should be aiming for. They haven't got back to me yet. In fact, let me just quickly check live. I'll turn pale while I go to my email. Nothing yet. They're probably busy with post E3 though, so I wasn't expecting a quick answer anyway. But that is on the cards. I want to know roughly where I should be aiming and if it will happen. If that does happen and YouTube stays where it is, I probably don't need to keep Patreon going. That was very much a last-ditch effort to try and make the channel last long enough for something to happen. Not that I'm not grateful, obviously, to the people who helped, but it would feel dishonest if, say, Twitch took off, YouTube stays as it is now, that I was also asking for money from Patreon. I'm not sure. I guess I would run it by my patrons and see what they think about it. Because if you don't know how Twitch partnership works, it's a monthly subscription where you support the person. It's a 50-50 split between the person and Twitch. Yeah, I think it's $4.99 in dollars. You can also use different payment methods, like really weird ones like Subway gift cards and stuff. It's bizarre. I don't really understand that aspect yet. If I get a partnership, then I'll obviously have to educate myself, but we'll wait and see if that happens. So that's on the cards, potentially, going forward. Still waiting for an answer. If you are a regular watcher of the live streams, chances are you'll hear there first, or on Twitter, I guess, before anywhere else. So that is something else that's planned. Let's see, next on my list. Right now, outside of like small bonus videos or ones that are at a specific embargo time, like say on the 28th there's going to be a video going live at like 8 in the morning for my time. That's just because that's when the embargo lifts. Can't talk about it right now. Or an Overwatch highlight, which is just like a bonus video. I stick to two normal set scheduled videos a day. And prior to now, they've been going live at 6 PM UK time and 9 PM UK time. I realised that because most of my videos are at least half an hour, usually longer than that, I'm competing with myself if I make them go live at 6, because I usually start streaming about 6:30 or 6:45. So I'm probably going to start from Monday, I believe, or maybe Tuesday, I can't remember when I said it now. The 6 PM video is now going to go live at 5 PM instead, just so that there's enough time for people to want to watch that and then also come to the stream and not miss the start. That's a simple change, just letting you know in advance if you set your watch by when my videos go live. If you didn't know I had specific schedules for a couple of videos a day, then it's made no difference to you at all. So the next thing I had to talk about very quickly was just my schedule going forwards. Overwatch stuff will continue. We're running out of 6-man videos to do unless we start repeating. We'll do them until they're not fun. That's pretty much how I treat everything on the channel. We'll keep up with the updates, obviously. They bring out new characters, new maps, etc. Pardon me, I'm trying to wrap up the Dark Souls 3 solo play, because Dark Souls 3, it's kind of gone now. It was a great game, but people are just kind of not interested in it now, so I'm just trying to get through that. I've only got a few more areas left to visit, and then that'll be done recording. Monster Hunter Cross will be wrapping up this month as well. On the day I'm recording this, we'll just be recording like an hour of it, and then on the final Saturday of June, again, we'll probably just record an hour of it, and then I'll try and get those videos out with at least a week between the final Cross episode and the launch of Generations. Speaking of which, we've been playing the Generations demo on stream a couple of times for people who are finally able to play the English version of the game. But yeah, going ahead, we'll obviously be covering Monster Hunter Generations. I'll be doing viewer hunts on streams, so if you have the game, you're welcome to join in. We'll try and do like one hunt each person, and then after a rotation of 3, swap out to 3 more people. Sometimes I will just be playing with my friends, so do keep that in mind. Don't come to every stream expecting me to let the public in if I'm playing with my friends. Don't get pissed off. That's just the way it's going to be. Sometimes it'll be specifically with people who I'll have in the Skype call with me. Sometimes it'll be inviting whoever's watching in, and they'll get to pick the hunt that they want to do. The same as I've been doing for 4U. On that subject, the first 2 Saturdays of July prior to Generations release, we are going to do 4U nights. I'm not necessarily going to play it the whole night, it will depend how many people want to join in. But that's my plan. Further ahead of that, I'm not sure, other than Pokemon Sun. At the end of the year I'll be playing that. Maybe just on stream again, because it's a Nintendo thing. I'm not really comfortable having Nintendo stuff on my channel. But we'll see, because it's like, it seems to be okay, but I don't like assuming that things are okay. Beyond that, nothing else is jumping to mind that I would have a series on. Hopefully some indie game will just come along that I fall in love with. Gungeon will be continuing. I get quite salty at it sometimes, but I still like it, and I hope other people do as well. It's probably my favourite roguelike. It's better than The Binding of Isaac for sure, and I loved that forever. By the way, did you see on Twitter my birthday gift from my sister? She got me the beggars from The Binding of Isaac, his little... I don't know if they're made of hard clay or what, but they're great. I assume they're definitely not official merchandise, because I would have bought them by now if they were. I assume she got them from like Etsy or whatever that site's called, where people just sell copyrighted material without getting permission. Either way, I like them. But yeah, so that was that done. I'm potentially forgetting things that I am interested in covering. There was a lot of stuff at E3 that's actually out this year, like for example Titanfall 2. I think Battlefield 1 is out this year as well. The Dinosaur PS4 exclusive, I don't think that's this year. If it is, then I'm interested in that for sure, but I don't know if I'd do a series on it. There's a ton of games at E3 this year I was interested in, but they don't really fit my channel. They might fit streaming, but not necessarily like here's 20-minute or 30-minute episodes. Not to me anyway, that's not the type of content I do. So the other thing I want to talk about in terms of new content, I ran this by patrons a little while ago, didn't really get any feedback, so I'd also like just general feedback. I've been getting the editing bug a little bit, because most of the content I do, unless I'm using the web camera or my camera that I use to do unboxings of, like, you know, say I get a special edition of a game or whatever, those are the only times I do any editing these days, and I kind of miss it. I used to do a lot more editing. So my thought for a series where I would have to continue using the camera a little bit and do some editing would be a general YouTube tips series, where if you, I know a lot of people in my close circle of friends and also probably outside are aspiring YouTubers, where a simple question about how something functions or how I do things on YouTube works, and I just do a little short video with some diagrams and whatnot if you need help with that kind of thing, pointing out how like SEO works, my preferred scheduling, how I go about making videos, what programs I use, what settings I use, how do I try and get them to look as good as possible with YouTube's horrible compression tools, you know, that kind of stuff. Not necessarily specific about my channel, just how to do YouTube acceptably, I guess. It's hard to describe, but you know what I mean, just general tips. Would that be something you're interested in? Because if so, I'll probably, first of all, start with patrons and then kind of expand who I ask. What questions do you have about YouTube that I could answer? Not specifically about my channel, or even gaming in general necessarily, just YouTube in general, that I could help you by answering. That's my idea for a series. I don't expect it to be super popular. There's already massively in-depth this type of content on that subject on YouTube. Just something I felt like doing. In the past I've written up like huge text documents, but I know these days people prefer just, you know, visual aids and people talking to camera. I'd be willing to do that, and it'd give me something to edit as well, which I like doing. So that's my idea. If you want to let me know what you think of it, tell me in the comments and I will see them. So the final thing on my list of things to talk about, I've probably still forgotten something even though I wrote a list, because that's the way I am. Way back, also, Grandad Flick's going to tell a story, so get out now if you don't want to hear it. Way back in late 2010, I think it was, that was when I first started monetizing YouTube. I had my channel since 2008, which, by the way, my anniversary is coming up. I'm pretty sure I created my channel on like the 5th or the 8th of July 2008. I had a channel with friends before that, but that was when I made my own. I hadn't monetized for ages because I had a job. I was working retail and I was childish, so I was against adverts because I didn't understand that that's how people earn their money. It's not all corporate, soulless hacks. You know, the artist has to eat. But anyway, a legitimate network contacted me. They said, you know, why don't you monetize with us? And my initial reply was like, nah, I don't want to. I've got a job, who cares? And they were like, well, yeah, you can keep doing your job, but why don't you just earn something from your hobby? And then also some friends kind of nudged me into doing it as well, and I thought, okay, fine. I'll try it for a month. I'll try monetizing, especially because at the time I was doing some anime games that were really popular, so my channel was getting its first ever kind of big bump. So I thought, fine. And I made myself a promise. If I earned a certain amount in that 1 month, even if I didn't do it beyond that, I'd treat myself to an iPad. It was an expensive thing at the time. It's still an expensive thing, actually. And I thought, why not? Treat myself to something nice. I'm never going to be able to afford one or justify affording one on a retail salary, as people who work in retail will be able to tell you if you're on the bottom rung of the ladder. So I thought, why not? If it's above a certain amount, I'll do that. Come the end of the month, I was shocked by how much I earned. And keep in mind, this is 2010, so ad blocks didn't exist. Ad money from online ads was not crap like it is today. And gaming on YouTube wasn't a thing. There wasn't a gaming category. And most people couldn't record from consoles, which I could. So I was in a very powerful niche back then, which no longer exists, sadly. So it was a lot more than it would be today for the relative number of views that happened back then. And it was really great, and I decided, okay, fine, I'll have this running in the background while I work a real job. But then eventually, I got a job that I absolutely despise, as I've talked about numerous times in these videos, and I decided to go full-time with YouTube and hoped that by 2016 I would somehow manage to make it to a point where I could keep going. And we are there now if things stay as they are. So I made a promise to myself about this month. If I get to a certain amount, well, first of all, I once said that if you got into VR at this time, you're either rich or stupid. There's a third option, and the third option is if you can write it off as a business expense. So if I earn a certain amount this month, not only will I be treating my family to a fantastic meal for thanks for them supporting me, but I'm also very strongly considering buying myself a HTC Vive. Partly because I can write it off as a business expense because I'll do videos on it. Partly because I'm curious, partly because I'm stupid, and partly because this won't necessarily last forever. If most people are here for Overwatch and I happen, maybe I get sick of Overwatch and stop covering it. They might go elsewhere. So this might be a one-off fantastic month, like the best month I've ever had. So I want to treat myself again. It reminds me of when I first got started. It might not last forever, so why not treat yourself? And usually I don't really buy big expenses, unless you count 40k models, which actually are quite expensive. Well, not compared to how much a Vive costs, that's for damn sure. So that's my plan. Maybe I want talked out of it, maybe I want talked into it. There's really no way to tell. Thank you very much for listening, and I shall see you next month. Ta-ta for now.